light sprinkles. This meeting is being live streamed, yes. Okay, let's see if that worked, yay. Okay. So good morning. Today is October 5th. It is 10:01 a.m. and we are live streaming another Tuesday Talks with Church Communicators. I'm Christina Dillabo. I'm Director of Communications for the Desert Southwest Conference. And these weekly meetings are gatherings. They're not really meetings. I don't know. It's a way for churches to connect with each other, for the conference, the district, conference committees, and so on, staff, whatever, for all of us to be able to share what's going on, ask questions if we need help, or offer ideas and share tips and new information that we learned whenever it is that we learned it, or somebody asked me something. And so that's what I try to do when I send out the invitation email for Tuesday Talks. I try to list, here's some of the questions that I received over the past week, and I don't always get them all in there. I was thinking about it today, and there was a couple questions that I forgot about that I didn't put in that list. One was on CCLI, and a lot of times we cover the same type of stuff again, but if somebody's still asking, that means people still haven't heard all the answers, or now that it's actually affecting them, now it's like, wait, I know you said something about this, but it had nothing to do with me before, and now I'm the one dealing with it, help. So in case you find yourself in that situation, maybe the Tuesday Talk email arrives at your desktop just in time to help you out with whatever it is that we figured out together. I don't claim to know all the answers or to be the guru on all things communications. I often find the best ideas and answers and recommendations from you all that join us, or the people that email me before or after the Tuesday Talks with information to share. So this is more than anything a networking site, networking gathering. And yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to share, outside of, if this meeting is always live streamed on YouTube. So if you don't want your video or your likeness to be seen, please be sure to turn off your camera and you can join with audio. You can type in questions in chat, but I'm sorry if I missed it. And I love it when others bring that to my attention. So don't feel like you're interrupting. All right, first item that I want to cover is the church website question. So one of our churches is using Weebly.com. Some of our churches are using Weebly.com. It's a great starter platform for churches or for anybody. If you don't have a whole lot of experience or a whole lot of time with editing a website, it's pretty user-friendly, pretty basic, but it also is very limited on what you can do. You can't customize it a whole bunch. So it's good and bad. Let's see. Hey, Willowbrook, nice to see you. Okay, or nice. I'm glad that you're here. I know you don't have your camera and mic on, but glad you joined us. So what do you do if you want to start over? You need a new website for whatever reason. I'm having a hard time working with the platform that we're on, or maybe we lost the credentials to log in. There's so many different reasons why a church would need to start fresh. And the site that I recommend the most lately for where to host your website, what to use for creating your website, starts out with UMC churches. I will be sending you guys a link to resourceumc.org. I'm going to share my screen because I think I have that page open. Here. So the United Methodist Church, because the question was really about what resources do you have available? Does the conference offer web hosting? We don't right now. It's a great idea. Maybe down the road we'll be able to, but the United Methodist Church does offer a resource, several resources. And so this link I'll be including in the email to you guys It details all the stuff that comes with their website development package, and there's UMC churches. It's a hosting platform, but it also offers websites that are WordPress based, and that's one of the more customizable type of platforms out there. I'd say the majority of our churches use WordPress. It's pretty affordable, and they do offer support. I'm gonna click on that real quick. So this is what UMC churches looks like, and you see here there is a phone number that you can call, so you actually get to talk to someone if you rather do that. Same thing goes for if you are primarily Spanish speaking. They do have Spanish support. I don't know what other languages they have, but anyway, you can find out more about all that, and you see we've got the communications logo because this is a United Methodist service, United Methodist Church service. And with what they offer from Resource UMC is often a grant that covers maybe the first year of hosting, and it includes training and help with getting it all set up. We don't have a grant right now with the Desert Southwest Conference, but keep checking back if you ever find yourself in that situation that our church is struggling and we need a new website, we need whatever. New grants come up all the time. Carla, you've got your hand up.
I do. Christina, can you give us an idea what the costs are for the bronze, silver, and gold level?
Yeah, let's go back to sharing my screen. I want to say it, well, you know what? I'm not going to try to guess. Let's just go back to UMC churches. Web hosting, actually, I think here it is. So, no, the bronze is just the Find a Church listing, which is great. They do have a lot of, let's see here, a lot of information. If somebody's Googling your site, that's what you would, one of the main things that would come up. Okay, there we go. So the silver one right now is $5 a month or $51 for the year. And so if your church is either a brand new church, a church that doesn't have a website, a church that has a really old or kind of broken up or outdated looking website, then you would qualify, from my understanding, that's how it works. You would qualify for the silver grant. The gold is something that I don't think that the grants cover that. It just covers the silver one. Go ahead, Carla. Sorry, did you still have a question?
No, I just forgot to put my hand back down. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. All right. Okay, so it is pretty affordable. It's not too bad. All right. Does anyone else have questions about that? Okay. All right. Next item is, oh yes, this one about getting hacked on Facebook. I mean, I kind of don't even want to ask, like, how many of you here have had to deal with Facebook hacking? We talked about it last week, and one of our churches is saying, like, I just don't even want to be on Facebook. It's not really Facebook's fault. So what I want to share with you guys about like what to do, what information is out there for helps is number one, I found this NPR article that it has a couple really good tips. I'll share the link with you. But one of them, and I won't go into super details because you can read about it, but the NPR article, I thought the two main items were tips that the blogger learned about in Reddit. Things like the steps that Facebook requires for you to be able to take, like if somebody took over your account and you need to prove who you are, I guess one of the steps is to upload a picture of your driver's license, something that shows your picture and your name. And it wasn't working and it wasn't working. And turns out tip number one is to use a Post-it to cover everything up on your driver's license except for your picture and the name. That's what they needed for that step to work. Apparently that's a really common frustration when you're starting to try to gain control of your Facebook account again to prove your who you are. that one step is a major problem. The other one that it's more of a warning is, again, on Reddit, this blogger says that they found out that many people were recommending, well, buy that Oculus virtual headset from Facebook because they offer a special support route through if you buy that virtual headset. But the warning is, don't plan on buying it just so you can return it, because I don't think you can return it. That's not really a good route to take. I would say don't do that, because who knows what else is going to happen. The other thing is Facebook's representative or spokesperson, Gabby Curtis, had told NPR in that statement or in that article that the company's help center is available 24 hours a day to assist people with problems and report issues, but she also acknowledged that they do need help to keep improving, and they plan on investing in the future, because there isn't someone that you can call from Facebook. Is there, Chris? No, that it's really tough to get help, but I'm going to share with you guys the link. I'm going to share my screen again so you can see what I'm talking about. So this one's the article that I'm talking to you about, the NPR article. And then this link about like what to do if you think your Facebook profile or page was hacked. Here's some questions to think about, and it's got a great link for tools and tips and about malicious software. I'm going to show you guys the tools and tips page, because it's just some great information in here. We talked one time about like making sure that your password is different on Facebook, or don't use the same password for everything. Change your password every 6 months. There are things that you can do like with Facebook, through Facebook, like what is it called? When you have to put in 2 forms of like
two-factor identification.
Yes, thank you. 2-factor identification. They do that. Just lots of really good information in here that it's great for you guys to have, but it's also great information to share with your members from time to time. Just a good reminder, newsletter article, an email out there, a share on your church's, from your church's page with a little, scripture about, I don't know, this is just an idea. I've said it many times, I'm not a pastor, but some type of scripture I'm sure is out there that says something about maybe stewardship, being good stewards or caring for others. So here's a tip from Facebook about how to secure your profile, or something along those lines. Or you're not lost sheep. We are here to help you. If your Facebook page was ever hacked, here's a tip from Facebook or here's a link from Facebook to find a bunch of tips on what to do to keep your account safe. I don't know, not the best work that I've ever done, but you get the idea. Okay, questions about that? Thoughts? Something you guys want to share? Did anybody find something like, oh, this worked out really well for me?
Okay, so it was us that had the problem. And it took a really long time to find how to report that this was not like a legitimate fundraiser. And in searching for it, it seems like it's a pretty common scam that's going around right now, where the hackers take over the account, they change the emails so you can't like change your password or anything. And then they post that for this gal, they posted that she had cancer and that she needed, help with medical expenses and everything. And so a lot of people were donating to it. And there is a place that you can go to report a fake fundraising scam, but it took me like a good half hour of searching for it. So I can send you that link just in case it ever happens again. But within a couple hours, it was taken down. So that was good.
Sorry, writing down fundraising scam link to make sure we include it. Yeah, so this stuff happens and it's not always the easiest. You can Google stuff and I mean, that's how I found the stuff that I found, and I try to follow up mostly just through whatever account it is that I'm working with. Oh, here's a great tip. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I had a question, but do your tip first. Sorry.
So sometimes if you find, I mean, it's not Facebook related, but along the lines of how to search up for help, how to find help quickly. One of the things that I'll do for, like, if our MailChimp isn't working right, it seems like, what is going on? It's just a blank page, or maybe SurveyMonkey or whatever. A big company like that probably has a Twitter account. So you can search on Twitter for that company, or, something about, hey, MailChimp not working, whatever, to discover. They often have a Twitter account specifically for, yes, we know the site is down. Here's where we're at right now. And, you can stay, they're much more responsive on Twitter and offering quick updates with, 6 minutes ago, we updated blah, blah, blah. And now, I don't know, whatever's pending. It's just a lot more timely. So that's another option for looking to see what are people saying about this and what are the latest updates. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so my question was, if, say that NP article, our article was wonderful, and I wanted to share it with my congregation, I wanted to put it in our monthly newsletter. Can I just copy and paste the text and attribute it? What's the best practice for that, for sharing?
Yeah, so great question. What I do is, if it's a site that I'm going to be sharing often from, like I found there was a site that I was sharing from often in the Desert Southwest Conference newsletter. I don't remember what it is now, but I just reached out to, like, whether it's customer support or looked up the author's name, the company name, any way that you can get a hold of, like, the editors, the newsletter editor, the website editor, the blog author, to ask for permission, explain that it's for a church, and be sure to include, we're not making any money on this. Subscribers to our newsletter don't have to pay for the newsletter. We love your information and we want to share this one article, and let them know what channels and if it's going to live there for a long time. Anything like details like that, it's almost like, it's basically a copyright thing. So you do need permission to republish, and then you also need permission to either leave it up forever or to get specific guidance of, yes, you can share it, republish it in your newsletter or put it on your website, social media, but you have to take it down after 1 year or 1 month or whatever. I've never had the situation where I asked permission and they said no, or that I asked permission and they said you have to take it down after a year. But I have had other content that we were going to share where the person makes money on selling that content, and they said, you can go ahead and share it. Here's where you can buy a license for that, and the license is good for 1 year. So there was that, but that was just one time that it happened that way. What else? If it's okay, so that's what I would normally do for companies, nonprofit organizations, anything that is not the United Methodist Church, Desert Southwest Conference, your district. If it's something from the United Methodist Church, I often will, number one, I do put in there whether it's at the top or at the bottom of the article, originally published at, and then I provide the company name, the website address, perhaps a direct link to that article on that company's page. And then, maybe something like republished with permission. The thing with the United Methodist Church, Desert Southwest Conference, whatever, is you have permission to republish. You don't have to ask permission for that stuff. It's a nice courtesy. And if it's something that they are publishing from somewhere else, then I would check in and make sure. But if it's their own content, their own news writers, our own staff, committee chairs, whatever, you always can just copy and republish. but it's good to give attribution, which is the republished with permission from or originally published at type of information. Okay. But don't hesitate to reach out. Same thing goes with, well, yeah, just don't hesitate to reach out and ask. I've just been incredibly surprised with like big name people and just smaller blogs where sometimes you have to wait a while, but I've never ever been turned down. It's always been, yeah, go ahead. Thank you so much.
I was going to ask what the average response time was.
Yeah, so I mean that's really going to depend. I don't think that I've ever had like a full month, but maybe like a week or two. And it depends on how you're reaching out. If it's right on their social media channel, then I guess you'd be able to see what their response times are by looking at any other posts. But like even for a YouTube thing, sometimes we've had to republish somebody's YouTube whatever, and so then there's tons that you have to check on that. So this is a good warning, good reminder. Things on YouTube, let's say it's a performance of some song or they're reading out a poem. There's multiple levels of copyright infringement that's possible there. What graphic did they use? Did they buy that graphic and they're sharing it because they have the license? So you got to check to make sure, do I need to buy a license for that? Ask about all of this. Are you the one that wrote that? Are you, is this your original content? I'm asking permission to republish it. So I need to know, like, do they have authority to give you that permission? So if they're citing someone else's poem, it's someone else's song, whatever. So you need their permission to use their performance, but you also need permission from the author or the publisher maybe. There's tons to check in on with that. So be wary. Be careful. Do your due diligence. Okay. Oh, good. Betty also had good results. She's asked for permission to republish as well. Awesome. And First Church has used OD Partners in Birmingham since 2009, and we are currently in the middle of a refresh project and hope to launch our new version by early 2022. I wonder if that's about the website conversation, maybe? Not sure what Birmingham is. Okay, next item. So unless there's other questions about or comments, yes, it was about the website. Thank you. Sorry, the Birmingham thing, that's about the website. Okay, so if there's no other comments or questions about republishing or Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and move on. So the resources to highlight, we do have a new bishop. I'm sure you guys knew about that, had heard about it. So now when you go to the Desert Southwest Conference website, if you click on words from the bishop, it's not Bishop Bob anymore, it's Bishop Grant J. Hagia. And if you click on access, it actually brings you to his other conferences website where they've got his episcopacy statement there, because he is the bishop over the California Pacific Conference, and he's currently also the bishop over the Desert Southwest Conference. This is just in the interim because Bishop Bob was approved to retire as of September 30th. And if you want to find out more about his retirement celebration, it's the ministry retirement celebration, the thank you gift from the Episcopacy Committee, you can go to dscumc.org/bishop-bob to find those two videos. You can share either one of those in your church communications if you want to do something. If people were asking about, hey, wasn't there a scholarship fund that was created in his honor? Here's where you can find out information about donating. If people want to send a card or just an email to Bishop Bob, they still can. Here's the information for that. All right. Questions about that? Oh, you know what? And there's also an article from the Episcopacy Committee that explains it all, how it all worked out. So that'll be in today's newsletter, but I'm going to go ahead and include it in the post notes email as well. All right, next item is about Hispanic heritage resources. Let me get there. I'm going to share my screen again. So we talked before about how DSC Race Coalition was creating all these resources, and now it's all linked on the DSC Race page. This is the long URL for getting there, but if you just go to dscumc.org/race, and I'll include that link in the email, you'll get to the same page. Or if you're on the homepage of the website and you click on this button here, it brings you to that same page as well. So the first top 4 items here are the resources that are now available for local church use. We talked about how Hispanic Heritage Month started mid-September, it ends mid-October, but you can really use these resources at any time in the year. They're great things if you're looking at actually any, I mean, the AAPI stuff, Asian American Pacific Islander month information, any of these items, you can use them at any time to have a bigger conversation at your church, whether it's just with your leadership, with your staff and small groups. It's all available there. The one item that I didn't create a YouTube video for is this one, the Crafts with Kids, because I didn't think that you would necessarily, and please tell me if you rather have it that way. I didn't think that you would maybe be watching one of their videos on Crafts with Kids, like as a group, like to show it. It seemed to me that this is something that you would watch, you know, maybe it's whoever it is that does your children's ministries that would maybe watch it to learn how to make a piñata, for example, and then do this craft with the kids in their group. But if you think that it would be better to have each of these videos on their own, like, no, our children's ministry would show the video and then do it together, then I can grab those videos and have them available for download or on YouTube in the DSC Race Coalition. What do you guys think? Is it good enough to share? Like, who do you think would actually watch the videos and use them? Would it be the ministry leader, or would it be the leader showing it to the children's group? Yeah, see, I wasn't really sure either. So how about this? I'll put that question in the response, the after meeting email, so that if your church's children's ministry leader or Sunday school teacher needs those videos where they can republish them maybe on their own social media thing, or however it works, if you guys need those videos out of Facebook, just send me an email and ask for it, and then I'll do it. If just one church asks for it, that means other churches would probably use it too. So that's all I need, is one person to ask for it and I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it on the Prescott Facebook page, because as you can see, it's pretty easy to find them. All right, and the last item is about Disabilities Awareness Sunday, which is on October 17th. There's an article that was just published today from, oh, wait a minute. Shelly's saying, I've done adult paint nights. Oh, where we follow along with a YouTube video. I don't see young children being able to do that easily. You know, and yeah, maybe there's no children in Sun City, but like I've made a piñata before. I don't remember for what purpose. But I could see where, you know, arts and crafts isn't just a kid's thing. Those were children's crafts, but maybe, yeah, it could be some really good activities for adults to do. So the question is still not so much are the crafts with kids or crafts for kids, is it a video for kids or adults? But the question is it good enough, if you're going to use it in a group setting, is it good enough to just show it from Prescott's Facebook page? Or do you want the video by itself so that you can show it however you would show it from your church? So
I
please,
apologize. It's going to cause you more work, but I'm thinking just out of simplicity's sake, if
Mhm.
if it could be on the YouTube, I think it would just be easier to find and have that direct link instead of
Okay.
having to scroll down the Facebook page.
Yep. That makes sense. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. It really doesn't take that much work. They did a great job putting it together, so it's not even like I need to do a whole lot of editing or anything. All right, and that's a great idea. I mean, that's a great point to find it all in the one. There is a DSC race playlist, so it would be grouped in with that. So yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. Okay, so the last item was about the Disabilities Awareness Sunday. And I'm going to share my screen one more time. Not that there's, I mean, here we go. Here, just to show you guys the article. It's a very short article. I'm not sure who would need to see this. If it's your worship leader, is it your pastor? It will be in today's newsletter, conference newsletter. But it's just a good reminder, and I wanted to bring this to your attention because I don't know how much people would really pay attention to. I mean, it's a long list of articles today for the newsletter, and I thought, let's just share it. If there's any questions about it, I'm happy to take questions now. Not that I can answer them. I really was only going to say, I would direct you to Howard Gutherman or Billy Fidlin if you've got questions about it or need resources. But I'm also open to ideas about what you might need for Disabilities Awareness Sunday.
Is this one where we typically take a special offering?
Yes, and so that's really what the article is talking about, is how that special offering works, that it's supposed to go, like part of it goes to your local church, part of it goes to the conference to help fund different ministries, and 50% of it goes to the National Disability Ministry Awareness Organization.
Thanks.
Yeah, good question. And we do have within the conference groups, I guess, or a group. It's through United Methodist Men partnership with Disabilities Ministries, I guess, is the ramp building. I don't know if you guys had heard about that. Let me see here. Sorry, looking for it. Well, I'll share the link with you guys. If you're in a situation, whether it's at your church or one of your members that, like my mother-in-law, for example, she can walk. She uses a walker, and now even her cane is really difficult to just use the cane by itself. She has a step about this big from her front door to the porch. That little step is a big challenge. We just don't even notice if you're totally capable of walking, no problem. It seems like such a tiny little step, but that is a very big problem if you're, whatever it is that you may be experiencing physically. So not everybody has the funds to build in a ramp. Not everybody has the knowledge of where do you even go to get started on something like that. Do I have to hire a contractor? Well, no, we have a great ministry of men that will come out and build this ramp. And they've shared pictures, success stories, and they've got scholarships too. So keep that in mind in case you, and that's the kind of stuff that gets funded from the Disability Awareness Sunday, is those scholarships for those ramps. So it's a great thing to be a part of. And yeah, if you have questions about it, feel free to send me an email. I'll include contact information in that article though, but it will be linked in today's newsletter. So any other questions, comments, ideas? All right, and with that, we are all done. It's 10:35, yes. I get so happy when we get it all done in less than an hour because you guys are all busy, lots to do. So see you guys next week at 10 a.m. sharp on Tuesday. If you have questions or anything you want to share, tips, whatever, from now until then, don't hesitate. Send them to communications@dsc